A fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty hi-yo, Silver, the Lone Ranger. With his faithful Indian companion, Tonto, the daring and resourceful masked rider of the plains led the fight for law and order in the early western United States. Nowhere in the pages of history can one find a greater champion of justice. Return with us now to those thrilling days of yesteryear. From out of the past come the thundering hoofbeats of the great horse Silver. The Lone Ranger rides again.
Oh, Silver! Let's go, big fellow! I'm Silver! Away!
Lawyer Stanford looked up from his newspaper as his office door swung open.
Oh.
He knew by the expression on Barnaby Baxter's face that something had gone wrong.
Sit down, Barnaby.
No, I'll stand up to what I gotta say. Stanford, it's bad news.
Something going wrong at your place in the hills?
No, it ain't that.
Well?
When I got here in town a little while ago, there was a letter waiting for me. It's from a lawyer in St. Louis.
Ah, that's where your brother lived.
Yeah, and where my brother's daughter lived.
What about it?
That lawyer is sending the girl out here to me.
Yes. I wonder if he's heard things.
Well, here's his letter. You can see it for yourself. He's found out that my brother had a gold claim. Sally's inherited the claim, and she's on the way here.
I don't like this.
Neither do I. You told me we could just say nothing about my brother Ben's gold mine, and no one would be the wiser.
I wonder how that lawyer found out about it.
He found papers, that's how. And for the past year, we've been figuring that gold was all ours.
Yes, I know.
Now we'll have to give an accounting for all the gold that's been taken out of it. It's a fine kettle of fish. What'll we do?
Do you have any money?
No, I blew it as fast as I got it.
Me too. I made bad investments. Let me look at this letter.
You'd better think fast, Stanford. You got me into this.
Let me read this.
Go ahead and read it. It was all your idea that we take over Ben's claim and never let the girl know about it?
The girl's arriving today.
I know that. I read the letter.
Stage is due in less than an hour. Doesn't give us much time.
That girl's got to go back to St. Louis. That's all there is to it.
It'd solve things. Perhaps that's the solution. She'll probably need some cash to get there.
Yeah. Well, don't look at me. I've got no ready cash. We can't give the girl gold ore to pay her fare on the stage.
Well, gold ore it'd hardly do. Besides, it'd arouse suspicions in the mind of the St. Louis attorney.
Well, where'll we get the cash? You got any?
Not enough, but don't worry. You let me handle this, Barnaby.
What'll I do?
You go on back home. Go back to the hills and stay there.
You sure you can handle the situation without me?
I can handle it better without you. I'll borrow some cash from Jake Potter in her store.
beans 100. There you are, Mr. Stanton.
Thanks, Jake. I'll just fill out an IOU.
And while you're doing that, I'll see what the Indian wants. What are you after, Chief?
Oh, here, this.
Oh, this what you need, huh?
That's right.
Bacon, beans, coffee, baking powder, flour. Oh, is that the stage? Oh, sure enough. Doggone, there'll probably be a passel of hungry people wanting food.
Well, here's your IOU, Jake. I got to meet a client on that stage. Thanks for the loan.
Oh, that's all right. Well, you've got a lengthy list of supplies here, Chief.
Tonto got money. And me pay.
It'll take a little while to get this stuff together.
That'll be a trip and a hard ride, I'll tell you that.
Wonder we can get some food here, huh?
Do you mind waiting around until I wait on these people? They've got to get back on the stage before she pulls out.
It's all right. Me wait out front.
Sit on the porch out there. I'll call when I've got your supplies packed up.
Me wait there.
Well, gents, what'll it be?
What do you got to eat? Come right up here, Sally. We can sit on the porch and talk for a few minutes. How old are you, my dear?
Just past 12. Oh,
Oh, what's the matter?
is he a real Indian?
Me Indian.
Oh, you talk English.
Oh, don't be afraid, Sally. The Indians around here are quite friendly.
I'm not afraid, Mr. Stanford.
There are 2 chairs over here. Come with me, Sally.
Where's my Uncle Barnaby?
Yeah, sit down, Sally.
But he was to meet me. Well, that is, I thought he was. Mr. Councilman said he'd written to him.
My dear, I have some bad news for you.
Oh, what's the matter?
As I told you, I represent your uncle. He's not well. Couldn't come here to meet you.
What's the matter with him?
His health failed when he lost his money.
Is he poor?
Barnaby Baxter?
Uh-huh.
I should say he is.
Then he shall have part of my gold mine.
Oh, Sally, what were you told about the gold mine?
Why, my father had a gold mine, and Mr. Councilman said I owned it now.
My dear child, that old tunnel is worthless.
Oh,
Well, don't you suppose your uncle would have written you if you'd had anything of value out here in the West?
why, I suppose so.
You've come all this way on a wild goose chase.
But there must be some sort of a mine. A tunnel or something. May I see it?
I'm sorry, but there's nothing to see.
Not even a tunnel?
No, it caved in.
Caved in?
Mm-hmm, that's right. You see, it stood idle till the timbers rotted away, and then it caved in.
Then I have nothing.
Practically nothing. You should never have come here. Where were you living in St. Louis,
I stayed with a sort of distant relative.
Yeah, you'll have to go back there. Oh, your uncle sold a small piece of land that your father left and got $100 for you. I have it here. It'll pay for your fare back to St. Louis.
But I don't want to go back
Yeah,
there.
I know, my dear. But in this world, we have to do many things we don't want to do.
I want to see Uncle Barnaby.
Well, he can't see you, Sally. Now, I'll tell you what we'll do. I'll make arrangements for you to stay in Mrs. Beebe's boarding house until the eastbound stage comes through. Here. Here's the money your uncle sent you. Now, be careful you don't lose it.
Yes, sir.
Now, you wait right here while I go and see Mrs. Beebe. I'll not be long.
Very well.
Now, don't go away.
I won't.
Better hurry. The stage will start without us.
Come again, folks. Now I'll get to filling your order, Chief. It won't take me long.
Me wait here.
Are you an Indian chief?
No, me not chief. Me Tonto.
Tonto. That's a strange name.
Me
I'm Sally Baxter.
know.
My uncle's name is Barnaby Baxter. I don't suppose you know him, do you?
Me know Baxter.
You do?
Maybe you not go back east.
What do you mean?
Maybe plenty happen before next stage come to town. We see.
Lawyer Stanford felt well satisfied when he finally returned to his office. Sally Baxter had been placed in the care of Mrs. Beebe and seemed to have accepted the story of her uncle's illness and the fact that the gold mine was worthless. The scheming lawyer didn't know that Tonto had taken information to the Lone Ranger.
$5:00. Yeah, guess I'll call it a day. May ride out and report to Barnaby this evening. I'm not
Going somewhere?
masked.
We have a few things to discuss.
Now, you see here, if this is
Sit
a
down.
holdup... What do you want? Who are you?
Just think of me as a friend of Sally Baxter.
What do you mean?
She seems to need a friend, doesn't she, Stanford?
Why, I don't know what you mean.
You borrowed $100 from the storekeeper, then told Sally that her uncle had sent it to her. You lied to her, didn't you, Stanford?
Well, if she...
And you told the girl that her uncle was penniless. You also told her he was sick, too sick to see her. 2 more lies.
Now, what business is it of yours?
You said the gold mine was worthless. You said it caved in, and...
Now, wait a minute.
Wasn't I making those statements?
Well,
You remember the Indian who sat on the porch when you talked to Sally?
Oh, that Indian.
He told me what you said. Sally confirmed it. Talk to her, Stanford. I told her to wait until tomorrow. She's going to visit Barnaby Baxter. She'll see that the tunnel didn't cave in. She'll realize that you told her things that weren't true.
Well, if you take that mask off and tell me why you're involved in that girl's affair...
I told you I was her friend. I don't know what you're up to, Stanford. I'm going to find out. Evening.
Oh, wait. Wait a minute.
You'll see more of me, Stanford. Lots more.
Soon after the Lone Ranger left, the bewildered lawyer locked his office and set out on horseback for the Gold Hills. He hurriedly told Barnaby Baxter what had happened.
Well, the girl comes here, sees the gold mine, finds out you lied. Then where'll we be?
Barnaby, that girl's got to be made to think I told her the truth.
You told her the tunnel had caved in.
And that's how she and the masked man have got to see it.
Caved in?
Yes.
But how?
You have blasting powder around here, haven't you?
Yeah.
Well, then use it. Blow up the entrance to the tunnel.
But it'll take weeks to dig it out. I've been working it alone.
You want to spend some time digging the tunnel out or spend the rest of your life in jail?
No.
Well, now, come along. I'll help you get the stuff you'll need, and it won't be much work to set the blast.
The Lone Ranger and Tonto had followed Stanford out of town and waited near the trail when he went to call on Barnaby Baxter. Presently, they heard a distant blast.
Otto, that was blasting powder.
Plenty big explosion.
Came from the direction of Baxter's house.
That right.
What's the matter?
Someone come this way on trail.
Possibly Stanford returning. I'll take a look. Yes, it is Stanford.
Maybe him know something about explosion.
We'll see. Come on. Right up there. Get off that horse.
You. Well, now, what do you want?
Hit the ground, Stanford.
All right. I'm dismounting. You been following me?
I think you remember Tonto.
Oh, you again.
Did you have a hand in that explosion?
Well, what explosion?
You heard it. What was it?
Why,
No more lies, Stanford. Let's have the truth.
well, it was over at the...
Rope him, Tonto. I'll see if he has any weapons.
Me fix him.
Now, wait, please don't rope me. I'll talk.
You'll talk all right. You'll also be roped. We're going to see that you keep out of any further trouble. Keep this knife of yours.
Now, let me go, please.
Fix you plenty.
I haven't done anything to you. What are you tying me up for? Please, let me go.
We'll let you go when we're sure you'll behave. Meanwhile, you better answer our questions. What was that explosion?
Well, Baxter blew up his tunnel.
Oh, he did, huh?
It's all sealed in.
I wondered what you and he would do. Take him to the camp, Tonto. I'll join you later.
Steady there, Silver.
How long are you going to hold me?
That depends on a lot of things.
Steady, big fella.
Come on, Silver.
The curtain falls on the first act of our Lone Ranger story. Before the next exciting scenes, please permit us to pause for just a few moments. now to continue our story. Having instructed Tonto to take Lawyer Stanford to camp as a prisoner, the Lone Ranger rode into town. It was dark when he reined up at the home of Sheriff Barton, dismounted, and rapped on the door.
What do you want at the... Who the devil...
Take it easy, Sheriff.
Masked. 2 guns.
They're in leather, and they'll stay there unless you go for your gun.
What do you want?
You better come with me. Something has happened at the tunnel near Barnaby Baxter's house.
Barney's gold mine?
Yes.
What's happened?
You'll find the ground torn up as if there'd been a fight. You'll find that an explosion has sealed the mouth of the tunnel.
No. Is that so? You sure?
I've just come from there.
Oh.
There's a full moon. You can decide whether you want to investigate any further.
I'll get a couple of deputies.
You'll not need them. I'll go with you.
But that mask...
Come on, Sheriff.
Doggone. There's sure signs of a struggle here.
Here, look at this, Sheriff.
A knife. Let me see that.
If someone wanted to hide a body, the tunnel would make a good hiding place. With the entrance sealed like that.
This is Lawyer Stanford's knife.
Is it?
He and Baxter had a lot of dealing. What's more, I remember seeing him ride away from town at sunset.
Did he return?
I don't know, but I aim to find out. If Stanford ain't to home, I'm going to come here in the morning and ask a lot of pointed questions.
It was early the following morning when Sally, on a rented horse, and Tonto on Scout, rode up to Baxter's house in the hills and dismounted.
Oh, Scout,
Whoa,
fella.
whoa.
Fella. Now, you plenty fine horseback rider.
Oh, I love to ride, Tonto.
Now, me help you down.
Thank you.
Take it easy now. You ride plenty back home?
I did. Before Father died. Is that my uncle's house?
That's right.
Why, it doesn't look like the home of a poor man.
You remember all that masked friend tell you.
Oh, yes. Yes, indeed, I shall.
Me rap on door.
Walk right in. Ain't locked. Oh, an Indian.
Me, Tonto. This Sally.
Uncle Barnaby.
You're my brother's girl.
Oh, you do look like my father.
I do?
That man in town said you were sick and poor.
Well, you see, Sally,
And he said there wasn't any gold mine.
he's right about that.
There really isn't?
It's caved in.
That's what he said. And then another man in Tonto told me he fibbed. Tonto, you told me my Uncle Barnaby and Mr. Stanford were trying to cheat me.
That's what me tell you.
Oh, I'm so glad there's no gold mine.
Huh? What's that? Say, you're glad.
Oh, yes. Because if there had been one, it'd prove that you and Mr. Stanford were trying to cheat me.
Oh.
But you're not. Tonto, you were wrong. You and the masked man.
Maybe that's right.
Sally.
I'm so glad you're not dishonest, Uncle Barnaby.
Look, you mean to say you'd rather lose the gold mine than find out that I'm a crooked schemer? Willing to swindle my own niece?
Oh, yes. Yes, Uncle Barnaby. And you are sick. You really are. Uncle Barnaby, Mr. Stanford gave me the money you sent.
Oh, that.
I have it here. I'll not need all of it. Let me give you half of it.
Oh, no, Sally. I won't need it.
But I want you to have it.
No. Dad, right, I don't know what to say.
I'll put it right here on the table. There now.
I never figured on anything like this.
Tell her stop outside.
Let me see. Great day at Sheriff Barton and Hank Loomis and another deputy.
There are a lot of others.
Sheriff, come here.
Wonder what he wants.
I'll open it, Uncle Barnaby. Don't get out.
Howdy, Baxter.
This is a surprise, Sheriff.
Just a minute. You boys know where the tunnel is. Go over and start digging. Barnaby, where's Lawyer Stanford?
How should I know?
He was here last night, wasn't he?
Yes, but he left early.
Now, see here, Barnaby. There's a scuffle of some kind right at the entrance to your tunnel. The ground's marked up aplenty. What's more, I found Stanford's knife with his initials on it right near the mouth of the tunnel, where he wasn't killed and thrown into the tunnel.
I'm dead sure of it.
He couldn't have been. The tunnel's been caved in for some time. Hasn't it, Uncle Barnaby?
Right, fun it has.
Wait, Sheriff, wait. This is my niece, Sally.
How do you do, Sheriff?
Howdy, Sally.
Look, let's you and me go over to the tunnel and see what's going on. Sally, you wait right here.
Whatever you say, Uncle Barnaby.
Come on, Sheriff. We can talk things over on the way.
All right. You got some explaining to do, Barnaby. You and I both know that the tunnel was wide open until you blasted her closed last evening.
Doggone it, Sheriff. I feel ornery, low down.
Well, feeling bad about it won't undo a murder.
I'm not thinking about a murder.
Well, I am.
Whatever got into me? The scheme against a sweet youngster like Sally. Never thought about her at all.
That's where your tunnel was. It was open yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But you set off powder to blow it and close, ain't that so?
Yeah, that's so.
You did it to hide a dead body, didn't you?
No, Sheriff, I'll tell you the truth. I've been an ornery, no-good scheming polecat. It was Stanford's idea, but I went along with him. That gold mine belonged to my brother in St. Louis. When he died, his daughter Sally should have had it. Instead, me and Stanford worked it.
Yeah? You mean it's that 12-year-old girl's?
Yes, it is.
What's that got to do with blowing it up?
The girl came here. She knowed it was hers. Stanford told her it was no good, that it had caved in. Then he let me know that she'd been told different, that she was likely to come here. If she saw the tunnel, she'd know Stanford had lied to her. I had to blow it up. That's why I set the blast.
That's a likely story.
It's the true story.
Well, maybe so, but I'm going to have a look inside that tunnel just the same.
Go ahead.
I figure you and Stanford disagreed. You fought with him.
Oh, I did not.
Well, the fact remains that he disappeared. If we find his dead body, you're going to go on trial for murder. Now, come on. Keep at it, boys. Clear away them rocks. Let's see what's inside that there tunnel.
The men took turns with picks and shovels clearing away the rocks that blocked the tunnel. It was nearly noon when they were at last able to enter the mine with lanterns and search for Lawyer Stanford. Tonto and Sally stood with Barnaby Baxter near the entrance.
Stanford can't be in there. I know he can't.
Uncle Barnaby, the sheriff can't put you in prison, can he?
Well,
Him not go to prison, Sally.
My father would never do anything wrong, and you're just like Father.
Sally, I...
Yes, Uncle Barnaby?
Oh, Dad ran it all. I don't know what to tell you. Look here, honey. The mine has opened up again. Maybe we can find some gold in there. Never can tell.
Here comes Sheriff.
No sign of anything so far, Barnaby.
I told you wouldn't find Stanford.
Look, here comes the masked man. Uncle Barnaby, that's the man who told me you were trying to cheat me.
That's the critter that told me about the fight here at the tunnel.
There's someone in the saddle with him.
That's right. That's Stanford.
Stanford?
It is?
That's right.
But where'd he find Stanford? He's the one made me think the lawyer had been killed.
That's Stanford all right enough. I can recognize him now.
Oh, then he's alive.
Silver, ho!
I want to talk to you, mister.
That's one of the reasons I'm here. Down you go, Stanford.
Sheriff, arrest this man. I've been held prisoner all night.
And I've been accused of murder.
Hey, big fella. I see you've opened the tunnel.
Yes, it's open, but it wasn't a little while ago. Masked man, you said my uncle wasn't honest. And he is.
Now, wait a minute, Sally. I better tell you.
Later, Baxter. Otto, take Sally to the house.
No.
Sally, you better go to the house.
Your uncle will join you in a few minutes.
Well, all right then. If you say so, Uncle Barnaby.
Me go with you.
You needn't bother. You and that masked man said things against my uncle.
Doggone.
Sheriff, I demand the arrest of that masked man. He captured
Now
me.
keep still. I want to speak to him about a couple of things.
Yes, Sheriff?
You told me Stanford had been thrown inside that tunnel. I've had men working all morning to get it open.
I didn't say that, Sheriff. I said there were a lot of footprints around the entrance. Looked like a struggle.
Yeah, but
Then you found Stanford's knife, and you learned that Stanford was not at home all night.
Well, it looked like a murder or something.
Yes, I wanted it to.
What?
I made the footprints myself. Left the knife for you to find.
Why, you... Of all the doggone nerve, of all the
Someone
honoring...
had to get the tunnel open so Sally could have her inheritance. She'll get it, won't she, Baxter?
She certainly will. She should have had it from the start. She would have had it if I hadn't listened to that scheming, two-faced lawyer.
Now, hold on, Baxter.
I know I went along with you. When you came and told me how we could hide the fact that my brother had left the tunnel and gold to his daughter, I'm to blame as much as you. The only reason was I hadn't met the youngster.
There's a lot of things I don't savvy.
It's simple enough, Sheriff. Sally Baxter inherited the gold mine from her father. Stanford and Baxter tried to steal it from her.
And I'm sorry for it. She'll have it, and everything I've got to go along with it. Why, she thought I was poor and sick. She even split what little cash she had with me.
It seems to me you two crooks better come along to jail.
I reckon so.
Just a minute, Sheriff. That girl is alone in the world. Her uncle is her only friend or relative.
I don't see how you fit into things.
Why, he's the one that realized that Sally was getting cheated. He took her side when her own uncle was scheming against her. He sent her here so's I could see what a skunk I'd been.
Well, he captured me. He abducted me.
Yeah, and by doing that, he's got the tunnel opened up.
Doggone it, you two stole from the girl. You ought to go to jail.
You may not find it easy to prove a case against me,
Just
Sheriff.
a minute. Sheriff, nothing will be gained by jailing these two. A lot might be gained by giving Barnaby the chance to be the sort of a man his niece thinks he is. He could make a home for her, manage the gold mine for her, and do
If I could do that. Sakes alive, if I could just have a chance.
You don't jail him, you can't touch me.
Stanford, no self-respecting gent would care to touch a snake like you. Not with a 10-foot pole. You better be out of town by tomorrow morning, though, or by Juniper,
I think you'll be out of town, Sheriff. Won't you, Stanford?
That is...
Are you in doubt about it?
Oh, I'll leave town.
That's better. Barnaby, when you go to the house, will you tell Tonto I'll meet him in camp?
Yeah. But wait a minute. I want you to know how much I'm obliged to you.
You're obligated to Sally, not to me. City. Right there, big fella. Come on, Silver.
Doggone. I don't know who that masked man was, but he sure got a way of seeing justice done.
Silver!
The story you have just heard is a copyrighted feature of the Lone Ranger Incorporated.
You've been listening to the OTR Gold Network. Find more classic radio at otrgold.com.